Right. Top of the morning, top of the evening, top of the night. Whatever time zone you are on, we are live. A moment of silence for all those who have lost their lives. With that being said, let's remember this. If we can look up, we can get up. If we can get up, we can go up. I am back to my original, streaming live location, and which is looks like a gaming room. Okay, that's why I don't stream from here anymore, um, because it looks like a gaming room. With that being said, let me check my sound, and we'll go ahead and get started. With that being said, okay, sound is in. Okay, so the sound is good. You check my title. I got some hashtags in this baby. All right. All right.
Hush now, child, and don't cry. Folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination. Though you may find from time to time complication. Bite your lip and take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip, just move on up for peace you'll find. Into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush now, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Move on up and keep on wishing. Remember your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing. Take nothing less than the supreme best.
All right.
Do not obey rumors people say, but you can pass the test. Just move on up to a greater day. With just a little faith, if you put your mind to it, you can surely do it. Just move on up. Move on up. We move on up. Watch out, we just move on up. We move on up.
All right. So that was move on up. Now let's get into this information. Um, okay. I think I want to be like this. Here's a little. All right. All right. So let's get to this. You see the title. Um, like I said, my regular streaming room got turned into a looks like a gaming slash room because the person does game in this room all the time. So I'm looking at background like, oh, let me stay focused and not be distracted. Again, hopefully everybody is doing the best that they can in the situation that they are in. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. People be like, how come she's not in the regular interviewing room? Well, um, people decorate the way that they like to decorate, and so uh, that's what you get. Uh, so let's get to it, though. Let's get to it. Let's talk about. Let's get to these FBI updates. Um, so let's go ahead and shout on this because I want to jump right into the information. All right, get to it. Okay, graphic content, parental consent, viewers' discretion is advised. Graphic content, parental consent, viewers' discretion is advised. So, what I have to say is technology, do not be the last to know. And unfortunately, usually different communities are the last to know, and we don't need to be in that category. Now, having said that, let's move on to the topics for tonight. All right. So, and I'm looking at my other device, making sure it is catching up in real time. We're going to get to FBI updates in the latest scams that's out there. I want to talk a little bit software, security, privacy, Windows. I'm going to really get off into Windows tonight to show people who have Windows 11 and even Windows 10 how to stop Windows from collecting all of your intel and your data unbeknownst to you. And let's hit it. You see ransomware up there, okay? So let me refresh this because it. Okay. So, all right, let's get to this.
This morning, an urgent warning from the FBI about QR codes and how scammers can use them to steal your financial information. QR, or quick response codes, are barcodes used by many businesses, especially during the pandemic. When scanned by a smartphone, they direct a user to a website. The FBI says some criminals are now tampering with those codes to redirect victims to malicious sites that steal login and financial information.
And they're warning that they can, in fact, manipulate the coding in the QR code to change it, to redirect you to a different website, and then proceed to ask you for your financial information, for your bank information, for your personal login information.
In Texas, police say dozens of QR codes were attached to parking meters, tricking people into scanning them.
If you're in a hurry, you shoot a QR code, you pay some money to a website, and it turns out to be the wrong website. And, we're all, unfortunately, We're aided by technology, and of course, we suffer at the hands of technology at times.
Police in Massachusetts also warning drivers.
We don't use QR codes at all.
It's not just parking meters. The fraud is now being seen in restaurants and many other businesses nationwide.
FBI warns that they could put some malicious malware in your computer. In fact, with the surge in ransomware going on, it's not uncommon that they might put ransomware on your computer.
To protect yourself, the FBI recommends after scanning a QR code, check that the website looks legitimate with correct grammar and no typos, and avoid making payments through a site received from a QR code. Instead, use a trusted web address to make your payment. Authorities say if you've been a victim of a tampered QR code, notify both the police and the FBI to help crack down on these criminals. Andrew, Faith.
Andrea, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the...
So, that's what they had to say about QR codes. But let me share back out on that. Let me explain something about QR codes really quick before I go back into the slides. Okay, so what happened was a man in the middle attack in cross-site scripting. Just going up right off the top of my head, because again, feel that I have undergrad degree in and a grad degree in really investigations. Okay, we say computer forensics, network forensics, digital forensics, investigation, assurance, security, privacy, and different things like that. So also, trade, one of the trades, ethical, quote unquote, hacking. So what's happening there is what I would call, if I were conducting an investigation and the FBI, I'm sure, are looking into this, I would immediately say, okay, man in the middle attack to intercept between the real website and a fictitious website, and you are cross-site scripting, so you're redirecting them to the fictitious website. Okay, so with the QR codes, what's happening now is you get a man in the middle attack taking place in cross-site scripting. So you got somebody in the middle, which is the rogue hacker, hitting those systems because they created some malicious code. Okay, that's person in the middle. It should be you going directly to the website, but somebody's there intercepting it. And that's the rogue hacker. Okay, cross-site scripting, redirecting you to a fictitious website to collect all of your data, all of your intel, and steal it. All right. And remember, the FBI and the other security expert was saying, okay, not only are they doing that, they are they could write ransomware. All right. And that gets to my question for tonight when we talk about ransomware. I'm breaking the volume down. I have it all the way up. There's no reason for me to be this already talking octaves. Apologies. So let me play this back so you can hear it again.
This morning, an urgent warning from the FBI about QR codes and how scammers can use them to steal your financial information. QR, or quick response codes, are barcodes used by many businesses, especially during the pandemic. When scanned by phone, they direct a user to a website. The FBI says some criminals are now tampering with those.
So that man in the middle attack coming from rogue hackers and redirecting you to a fictitious website is called cross-site scripting. Now you got a person in the middle that's that's running interference between you and the original website that you requested to get your original data from or be interactive, and they're redirecting you to another website. So you need to be careful because this is one of the latest technology scams that are out there. So don't be the last person to know.
Codes to redirect victims to malicious sites that steal login and financial information.
And they're warning that they can, in fact, manipulate the coding in the QR code to change it, to redirect you to a different website, and then proceed to ask you for your financial information, for your bank information, for your personal login information.
In Texas, police say dozens of QR codes were attached to parking meters, tricking people into scanning them.
If you're in a hurry, you shoot a QR code, you pay some money to a website, and it turns out to be the wrong website. And, we're all, unfortunately, we're aided by technology, and of course, we suffer at the hands of technology at times.
Police in Massachusetts also warning drivers.
We don't use QR codes at all.
It's not just parking meters. The fraud is now being seen in restaurants and many other businesses nationwide.
FBI warns that they could put some malicious malware on your computer. In fact, with the surge in ransomware going on, it's not uncommon that they might put ransomware on your computer.
To protect yourself, the FBI recommends after scanning a QR code, check that the website looks legitimate with correct grammar and no typos, and avoid making payments through a site received from a QR code. Instead, use a trusted web address to make your payment. Authorities say if you've been a victim of a tampered QR code, notify both the police and the FBI to help crack down on these criminals.
And so please notify the FBI. Let's make sure
This morning, an
that
urgent
we are
warning from
cracking
the
down
FBI
on
about
criminals.
QR.
And it is an urgent warning. So they talked about when rogue hackers encrypt your system and lock you out. What is that called? It is in my table of contents. It's called ransomware. Okay, so don't be the last person to know. Now, again, man in the middle attack. You got rogue hackers out here who are using malicious, they're writing some malicious code with the QR codes. Okay, and when you go to use UPS, you've used QR codes. If you when you go to post offices or you go to FedEx, or you're getting different things. So QR codes is a common thing that's used, where you just go ahead and you scan the QR code, even with packages and things like that. And you just keep it, for convenience, and you move on. Well, now, because hackers do what they do, they hack. Rogue hackers. They do what they do, they hack. Okay. Now, and it's the convenience that comes along with technology. Not only that, like I said, the internet was designed to be an open network, okay, an open system. So you expect vulnerabilities to be there. And unfortunately, no one can offer 100% data security if you are on the internet. All that's available are levels of security, right? Do you leave your house for a month, a week? Let's say you went on a vacation for a week. Let's say you went on a vacation for 2 weeks. Let's say you went on vacation for a month. Do you leave the house with all of the doors wide open and the windows open too, while you're going on vacation with no one there to house sit? Would you do that, or would you lock the doors, close the windows, lock the windows, give a possible thief something to work through versus leaving it wide open. Okay, so in this field, there are levels of security which gives a person something to work through versus just being left wide open. Okay, so Fire Mama, you're asking what does a person look for on the redirect website? Well, one of the things with a redirect fictitious website is grammar, the spelling, grammatical errors, spelling. Um, Spelling is usually a giveaway. Um, Also, the uniform re um, the URL, the locator, the uniform resource locator. That when you're looking at that, that's sometimes a giveaway. Um, when you are on a laptop or a desktop, you can do some things in the browser that would usually let you know. So yeah, but again, like they're saying, the main thing to do is if you're leery that somebody is probably out there and you have a fictitious they're trying to get a hold or they have had access to a QR code that you were sent, like they're saying, you don't use what they sent you, go directly to the original website and handle your business there versus using what they sent you. Again, another thing I always talk about is when we have these technology talks and conversations and data privacy and security is not allowing anyone to fish you out, okay? That's sending you fictitious emails. And you open it because you think it's from an original source, and boom, they got you. The rogue hacker got you. They got your system, they got your information. So it's just various things you can do to protect yourself. And one of them is, again, always go to the original website. Delete what they sent you. Don't open it. Just do, as soon as you see it, do an instant delete. If you think it's fictitious, go to the original website and handle your business, conduct your business there versus an emailed QR code. Even if you have the app installed for different places, you can go to the original website and conduct your business there versus through the app too, just as a measure or a level of some type of safety. All right. So, like I said, ransomware. We don't want to get hit with ransomware where somebody has got access to your laptop and they lock you out. Okay, they encrypt it. Okay, remember encryption. Okay, it's a key. Okay, private key, security key. Okay, private security key where no one is able to view the data. Decryption is when the other person has a key, they can unlock it and they can view the message. Okay, encryption. You're sending a message to somebody, you don't want anybody else to see it, so you encrypt it so no one can see it except for the person on the opposite side that has the key to open up the message. All right, encryption, decryption. Encrypt, you conceal. Decrypt, you reveal. Okay, visibility versus what's not visible via the internet. All right, so again, don't be the last to know because we're going to get off into Windows tonight. And once we get to this Windows section, it's going to be very telling. It's going to be very telling. If you have a Windows operating system, This is definitely for you tonight. If you have any operating system, I don't care if it's Windows, I don't care if it's a Macintosh, and I'm dating myself here, if it's an Apple, whatever, any type of operating system, desktop, laptop, tablet, iPad, iPod, whatever, cell phones, this is definitely for you tonight because this is about security. So,
The scene was not uncommon. Russian police and intelligence agents harshly taking down more than a dozen men, all played out on television. But the reason was extraordinary. The Russian government tells the Biden administration the operation dismantled a group of hackers inside Russia on behalf of the United States. Security agents took down alleged hackers from the ransomware group REvil at over 24 addresses, seizing millions of rubles, vehicles, and technology. Among those arrested, alleged ringleader Roman Moromsky, appearing in court in a cage, and Andrei Bessonov, both wanted by the U.S. The FBI in November offered a $10 million ransom for information leading to the group the U.S. blames for the ransomware attacks that shut down a number of U.S. targets, including the Colonial Pipeline in May.
The Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack also demonstrates a growing trend of companies and even government agencies being held hostage by malicious cyber actors. These cases demonstrate the broadening scope, scale, and sophistication employed by some adversaries.
The hack caused gas shortages along the U.S. Atlantic coast.
We're out of gas. I'm sorry.
I've been waiting here for 45 minutes just to get gas.
The group is also accused of hacking JBS, the world's largest meatpacking company. U.S. authorities have long believed that there was a tacit agreement between the government of Vladimir Putin and hackers that they could target Westerners with impunity as long as they didn't act against targets within Russia. Now it's clear if there ever was such an agreement, there are exceptions. Whether the anti-hacking operation improves U.S.-Russian relations in the long term likely depends on what happens on the Russian border with Ukraine. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, Chicago.
okay, so my question, because again, when I'm in security, data security and assurance mode and privacy protection, and I hear a statement like, it was usually thought that Russia knows when people or their residents and citizens in Russia are hacking, that they're backed by their government and it's known to them. Okay. And then you see this and it's like, well, they took them down and da 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 da, because this was just this rogue group that no one knew about. Excuse me, hold on. If Russia's systems, if Russian network is still 100% monitored by, and I'm talking about, oh, okay, let me give an example. Over here, right, over here, right, Fire Mama, over here, because when they hit systems like that, when they can hit gas stations, when they can hit energy companies, when they can hit a water system, when they can hit anything that's connected to the internet, and lock you out because you don't have the key to get back in, or you don't have anybody who has a key. Like before, if you got locked out your car, you can call, key masters and different masters who had keys to get you back in. Okay, now think about it. We're talking about technology here. You don't have a key to get back in. So, okay. Only they have the key to get back in, but they tell you before you can have access to your resources, I'm going to charge you a couple of mil. Okay. It's going to be a couple of $1 million. And then I'll let you have access to your resources again. But right now you don't have it because I got both keys, the encrypted key and the decrypted key. I got all of the private keys. You have none. Okay. Encryption to conceal. You're not revealing the information, you're concealing it. And that's what they do. They get on and they encrypt your stuff. They encrypt the systems. I don't want to say stuff, let me call it what it is. Different systems, lock you out. And then before they allow you to come back in, you got to pay them up. They won't pay. Now, going back to Russia, I just refuse to believe that Vladimir Putin and government officials in Russia had no knowledge of this. I just refuse to believe that, especially if their systems, all of their network systems, are under surveillance by the government. I just refuse to believe that. See, over here, private companies like the tech companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Meta, which call themselves Meta or whatever they want to call themselves, Metaverse, whatever. Um, Amazon, different companies that have access to all this information. They do not have to allow the government to have access to that information and what we would call spying on US citizens. The government technically has to get a warrant unless it is espionage, unless it is something high level. Technically, these corporations have to turn over that information because you do get into violation of the law. Okay, go get your warrant and then da 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 da. So again, over there, years ago, that wasn't the case, and I still to this day think that they're 100% monitored over there. All of their networks, you know. So, like I said, don't be the last to know. Okay, and so they just, you know, $10 million. Somebody told. Now, I'm like, so it's interesting for me. I want to know who told. I'm thinking, okay, so they just happened to get taken down. It was a $10 million offer for them. And who told on them again? I want to know who told on them. I doubt if it was anybody from the group because usually rogue hackers, when they are hacking, that's a $1 billion industry. And so I don't see anybody coming from a rogue $1 billion industry just taking $10 million when they have access to billions like that. It's just a matter of using some software and some hardware. If you and you quite naturally you're using hardware because you have a physical desktop, laptop. That's the hardware, and then software is installed to communicate with the hardware. Okay. I don't see anyone from the group telling on them when they can hack and have been hacking for probably billions of dollars. And so because I still don't trust Russia's system, I have a big question mark there. Like who told? Like was it so all of a sudden mysteriously uh Russia intel just go in and take them down? No, somebody had access to that information all along. Um, if you ask my perspective. So, all right. So again, don't be the last person to know. But let's get to let's get to Um, was also in the table of contents, and it still deals with technology, but let's get to a side note point on technology. Software and hardware options. Why? Efficiency. Okay. Remember efficiency. So, what I have here is screenshot of some of the software and hardware production and productivity apps that I use. You see Cisco WebEx meetings, quite naturally Zoom. That's my little anti-spyware. I got different spywares on it. You see one of my little presets or whatever. vMix, vMix Social. So you see all of that. Now let's talk about productivity and production when we're live streaming. Real quick, I want to work this in here. All right. So vMix versus OBS. All right. Optimization, optimization, optimization. All right. On my side note tip for tonight, when it comes to production and producing live streams, and you're not utilizing um, a service provider that has a paid or a free subscription, okay? Because I'm using Restream tonight. I'm not using Zoom. Zoom is a paid for prescription subscription, excuse me. If I want to push out and go live, unless I use a OBS, okay? Zoom, paid. Cisco WebEx, which I love the user interface, by the way. Cisco WebEx has been doing meetings for years. They're like one of the first to do meetings. So I love their user. I don't love it. I like the user interface. Clean for people who don't come from a technology foundation or play around with technology, coding, and different things like that. They won't like the user interface. They probably won't like it. They probably consider too technical, too difficult, or maybe too busy for them. But me, I like it. I mean, they were one of the first, not just because they were one of the first, just looking at the user interface. It's about the options, it's about efficiency, it's about getting the maximum use out of the resources and options you have available. Okay, so let me say vMix versus OBS. All right. I've said it before, and this is a screenshot of my vMix, is what you see, and I got vMix versus OBS. I don't care for OBS because it pulls on your central processing unit unless you have a different type of system that can handle that, or electronic device that can handle that, like a gaming system or a supercomputer, or just something that's more efficient than the regular laptop or desktop options. It's using too much of your CPU, it's using too much of your processor. And again, it's about optimization, being more efficient. Now, vMix is paid, which is interesting. But and it also pulls on the processor, but you can see it, and it doesn't pull on your processing unit as hard as OBS from what I experienced. You comparing and contrasting. And again, this is my side note, and we're going right back into data security and privacy. All right. So this is what I love about vMix. Again, vMix is a paid software production that can be utilized. Is, you know, the competition, or the I'm not even going to say competition. What's compatible with it is OBS. But the thing that I like about vMix is options. Not only the options, for me, it has been more efficient than OBS. vMix, lower thirds are included, boom shots, cutaways. Um, and OBS may have upgraded to have these things now, but virtual sets is part. It comes already installed. And again, optimization and options. The maximum benefit for utilizing these resources. I want the most, not a bare minimum that's available for me to utilize this. I want the most. I want the maximum utilization out of these resources. So that's another reason I like vMix. It's just and it's a easy it's not a difficult user interface. You know, once you walk through learning, again, this is my side note. Just like I said, it comes with virtual sets, and you can drop yourself inside virtual sets that they already have pre-made. And they also give you the option to customize. They come with lower thirds automatically. You can customize that. A host of different options. Um, and you can also add your own little virtual background you created into this. And again, drop yourself in front of it. It's just the options that they have available, as well as the music options where you can control. And again, it's the hardware and the software, but you can use vMix directly from your laptop, push out a live stream to multiple platforms at one time, or you can have different cameras or cell phone, smartphone devices plugged into whatever hardware you're utilizing and still stream out that way. And like I said, all this can be done using OBS, but it's about the options. They have more options available. Clean user interface, simple, and I like to have options. Okay, I like to have more options available. Okay, you can have options available, that's fine, but I like to have the most options available as possible. Again, very easy, lower thirds, this and that. So you're not creating anything from scratch. If you don't want to, you can just go in, edit the options they have, and go with your production. You again, you can either get the hardware that you can control it manually in the background, or have somebody on the side controlling, or you can just do it straight from the laptop. So that's my side note on optimization. Again, I like Cisco WebEx over Zoom. It's just for various reasons, more options with Cisco WebEx. In terms of streaming and network um, backbone has been in place for years, and they have more options. Okay. Although Zoom is easier, you know, to utilize for a person who has no knowledge about technology or just wants to, get move through quickly. But again, for me, it's about efficiency and optimization. Okay. So now that we're done with that side note, let's move right back on to Windows. Now, this is why I'm saying don't be the last to know. Stop the Windows tracking and data intel collecting. Okay. Now, unbeknownst to a lot of people, unfortunately, unfortunately, Windows like to track people. Okay. Okay. They got a lot of bit nosy. All right. So um let's see how we can stop Windows. And this is pertaining to Windows 10 and Windows 11. Because right off the back, if you don't manually go in and disable these options, turn them off, well, guess what? They're getting all of this data about your location, okay, where you are currently. Um, they're getting all of this intel about how many websites you've gone to, what you've been doing on the website, how long you've been on at those websites, what you've been looking at those various websites. They are getting all of this information about your browsing history. Not only that, um, if you're going to sit up there and let them have access to your laptop and how many keystrokes you are typing in when you're utilizing your laptops and what you're looking for, that's on you. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's a security issue, a privacy issue. All right. Security threat. You can check yes for that. And it's a privacy issue. However, they give you options to go in and turn this stuff off. All right. So, like I said, um, for Windows 10 and Windows 11, if you haven't done this, please do so. And for Windows 11, I'm not even upgrading to that. I'm just not, because what they've done with Windows, and that will be on another day, is they make sure that this latest version of Windows 11 is not compatible with other operating systems. Even if you have a operating system with Windows installed on it, well, they make sure the compatibility is not there, that it's just not compatible with anything. They're making sure that, like they said, they're forcing you to buy another laptop if you want to utilize Windows 11. That when you look at it holistically and overall, they're forcing you. But again, a side note, let me get back to what we're here for. Don't be the last to know security issues. So stop Windows 10 from being in your business and collecting your intel. And let me say it again. If you don't have these turned off, they've been collecting your information. Period. That's what it is. If you got Windows 11, if you have Windows 11, if you have Windows 10 and you haven't done this, do so. Okay. So on the start menu, look for the settings icon. So you look for your settings icon. Okay. Start menu. You're going to do that. And then select network. Okay. Select network and internet. All right. And after you've had, now we're going through step by step in all of the areas where they can just have access to your information. And we're going to turn each and every option off. All right. So once you get there, change sharing options for different network profiles. Okay. Go through each network, go through network discovery, turn it off. Windows don't need to be in your business like that. Go to file and print and sharing, turn it off. Windows not need to be in your business like that. Go through each option for all of these items, or all of these, let me not say items, all of these selections underneath there for each specific area, and turn it off. Okay? Turn them off. Turn them off. Because if you don't turn them off, you know who gets that data and who has all that intel? Windows. Windows. Where's it stored at? In their data warehouses. It gets archived, but they still have all that information. Do you want them to have all that information about your browsing history, online behaviors, everywhere you've been? Not only that, do you want them to have information of what you've been typing on your laptop? Do you want them to have that type of intel. How many times you looked at this? How many times you looked at that? What do you want them? Because you have software installed on your operating system. Do you want them to have all of that information about you? Do you want them collecting all of that intel? Okay. So talk about metadata, information about information. And some who work for Windows and some people on the security side may say, oh, it's because for security issues and reasons and different. No, Windows, you're collecting too much intel. It is not business when people log on, what they're talking about, what they're saying, what they're searching, how long they're on a website, who they're communicating with. That is not their business. And that is a security risk. Okay. Windows, focus on securing your systems. Okay. Focus on data security, Windows. Focus more on that versus trying to get all this intel about people operating system. Or, the thing is, oh, if something happened, is you crash or this and that or da 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 da, then we'll know X, Y, and Z. No, they're collecting too much intel. Again, this is about securing your own system. These are things you have to do. Okay. So you have to be actively involved and engaged. All right. So after you've done the network, again, underneath settings again. Okay. Now you're going to select privacy. First, we went to network and internet and we turned off sharing, location, all that. Turn it off. We turned it off. Okay. We selected. That was our first option. Next option is select privacy. Okay. Now, if you select privacy in your Windows, this is what you're going to do. Underneath privacy, you are going to go through all of the different options: general, speech, inking type, personalization, diagnosis, feedback, diagnostics and feedback, activity history, location. Now, you want to, before I talk through this one, when you get to camera, you want certain apps to have access to your camera, especially if you do live streams using your laptop or your desktop and it has a web browser, a webcam pre-installed. Then you go through and you select each. Don't leave them all yes, don't leave them all on. No, go through and personally select only the ones that you utilize. Turn those ones on and turn the rest of them off. Now, going back to just underneath the general section, privacy. Let's use advertising ID to make ads more interesting to you based on your app activity. Turning this off will reset your ID. No one cares. Turn it off. Let's website provide locally relevant content by accessing my language list. I don't care. Turn it off. Let's Windows app track, launch, and improve startup search engine. Turn it off. Okay, some of these, this is my system, screenshots from my system. Some of these, for the sake of giving an example, I had turned on and some of them I had turned off. Now, the highlighted ones are turned on. All right. The ones with the aqua looking blue, that's it's on. And then off, when you see it off, it looks white and black. Okay. Turn everything off. Show me suggested content and settings apps. Turn all this off. Because what happens, let me say again, all of this intel and data from everything that you're doing on here goes directly to Windows. And you may say, I didn't give them my consent to collect all this data and intel about me. Yes, you did the moment that you did not turn it off. Yes, you did. You consented to that when you didn't turn it off. So go through under privacy settings, turn options off. Turn it all off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Because we taught them not spying on you or collecting data and intel from you unbeknownst to you. We're talking about data security now. We're talking about data privacy. Right? So turn it off. If you have Windows 10, if you have Windows 11, go through manually and turn these options off. All right. So underneath privacy again, underneath that privacy section, if you continue to scroll down, you would come to another selection that said advanced options. Turn it all off. Receive updates from Microsoft products when you update with no off. Download updates over metered connections, extra charges may have off. Restart this device as soon as possible. When restart, install, updated are off. Updates notification off, off, off. I have everything turned off. When I update my system and I log on and they say, okay, it's an update available. Okay, I may want the update, I may not. Okay, now pause for a minute. Let me say something. When they send out patches, yeah, you want to update your system because you don't want hackers to just be able to get through. Okay, that's a security risk threat, and that's like a kid in a candy store who loves candy for hackers to exploit vulnerabilities. So you want to make sure you're always up to date with the latest patches and fixes, programming errors, or whatever, things that are exploitable that the software provider or the manufacturers have overlooked, of just simply messed up on. Okay. But they don't just, as soon as I start up, they don't just to get to automatically update my operating system. No, I like to manually select, okay, update. I like to manually select that because again, all this stuff running when you start up, as soon as your operating system boots up, remember it's about it. You're running multiple software applications at the same time. That slows down your system. Okay, at the start, boom, 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 boom. You have to think about that simultaneously. When you have all of these software applications loading, as soon as your operating system powers up or boots up, they're all running simultaneously at the same time. That pulls on the operating system too, pulling on the processors. Not saying that it can't handle it, but what did I say earlier on my little side note? Efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. Optimization, 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 efficiency. Okay. All right, let me plug this in. What's this? Charge this up really quick so this doesn't die out on me. All right. Yes, that's me charging up my. All right. So remember, privacy, privacy, privacy. Do not be the last person to know. People usually may try to zone out when it comes to data security, but this is so important. Like I said, you may not be able to do anything with your data. You may think you have a low credit score, or whatever, or this and that, and this and that, or whatever, whatever, whatever. Because I've heard people joke before, credit score low. I don't know why a hacker would want my information because they can do with your information what you can't do with it. That's why. So, process of eliminate as many privacy and data security threats as you can on your end. When you have knowledge to know how to do, then you should what? Do. All right. Now, Let's go back to general. Let's go back to home. Let's go back to just the general Windows setting. And you underneath general, what we do is we turn everything off again. Underneath general privacy setting, turn all options off. Turn options off. Turn it off. Turn them off. Inking and typing personalization. Inking and typing personalization. Turn this off. Go underneath general speech, inking, diagnosis, feedback, activity history. Turn every last one of these off. The various options underneath there, turn them off. Because inking and typing personalization, if you have this turned on, guess what Windows is doing? They are collecting personal information, personal data, intel about you, storing it. It goes directly to their servers and they archive it. Okay? This is another way they are, what people like to say, spying or in your business, unbeknownst to you. Use your typing history and handwriting patterns to create personal dictionary that makes better suggestions for you. No, Windows, we don't need you to do that. Because when you do that, you are on your end collecting the end users' data, sending it directly to the server and archiving it. We don't need you to do that. So turn this off. When this is switched off, your personal typing and inking dictionary will be cleared, but the standard dictionary will continue to provide typing suggestions and handwriting recognition. Okay, standard dictionary, we can utilize that. We don't need you collecting intel underneath here. We don't need you to do that. And it again, it's the amount of intel that they collect that will leave you baffled when you have these turned on that you don't know that they're collecting. See, people who have left these options on and was just thinking, okay, or didn't understand what they meant. Well, guess what Windows been doing for you? Guess what Microsoft got? They have all that information. They know everything you've been doing as long as you've been using that device with that Windows software installed. Windows operating system, Windows 10, Windows 11. For those who switched over to Windows 11 and you haven't turned each and every last one of these options off, they've been all up in your business, collecting data and intel about everything you've been doing, everything you have been doing on that device if you don't have this turned off. So again, get Windows up out of your business. It's about privacy and security. And again, people who work for Windows will come out and evangelize for Windows all day long and champion for Windows all day long and say, well, no. We need this to know, if the operating system goes down, how much it is to that. And so we can get back in and help this person at that point in time. Newsflash, Windows. You're not the only one who know how to fix operating systems. And furthermore, system is backed up. Usually everybody go in and they select backup options so you can restore your operating system if need be. Sometimes if you get hit with a ransomware, and you know how to take everything out of your laptop or desktop and and install new things, new mega boards, new drives, and everything with the interface cards and all that, do so. Order something authentic or something compatible and do so. Or you could just get new, okay? Because ransomware is nothing to play around with. Okay, Fire Mama. Make sure, like I said, if you have, it could be for Apple, it could be for Windows. I don't care who operating system it is. Go in and start turning all of these options off. Okay. Again, what do we look for? Look underneath settings. Turn all of this off. Turn all of these options off because they are a security risk. Okay. They are a security risk. It is what it is. Turn it off. Now, with that being said, let's get back to music, and that's it. We're going to get out of here. Oh, I'm just a little bit over an hour, and I threw some side notes in there. Let's go back to the music. The thing about this is the live to one of the lives to pay attention to. Because, like I said, don't be the last to know when it comes to security threats. Don't be the last to know. And I was going to get off into a little coding, but I came later than what I anticipated coming on. But with that being said, it's a wrap. I'm over an hour. So we wrap this up and go to the music. And for all those who were viewing, thank you so much. Let me do this. Remember, optimization, 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 efficiency. That was my side note when it came to utilizing different software programs, software applications, platforms, software as a platform, infrastructure as a platform, or whatever, software as a service. Optimization. You want the most out of the resources. You want what's efficient. You don't want to be pulling on your resources. Efficiency. You don't want to pull too much on your resources. You want the maximum utilization out of what they're offering. Okay? That was in the side note, but that's important on every day. Also, get Windows out of your business. Get Apple and all of these other people out of your business if you're utilizing a desktop, laptop, iPad, tablet, or whatever. Go in and manually turn off these options because, again, they sit up and they collect intel unbeknownst to you about everything that you're doing. And they're going to say, well, it was a privacy setting there. You chose on instead of off. We gave you options, right? We talked about options tonight. So, again, everything in my mind when I see stuff like that can become a backdoor because Windows has this information, but who else out there has this information? Because man in the middle attack can happen like that. Hackers can hit systems like that. So, that being said, let me go to the music and we're going to wrap it up. 2022, this is what we do. We move on up. We ain't taking nothing less than the second. Let's go. All right, with that being said, that wraps it up for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for streaming. To the people in the bushes, to the people who will see this later, make sure you go through and manually turn off and disable every feature that would collect data and intel. Is intel, information about you, specific information about you. Make sure you do that. With that being said, an hour and 16 minutes and 3 seconds. You all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night. Bye-bye, everybody. Stay safe and stay vigilant.